Ba-da, 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 ba-da. Welcome back, guys. JT here. I hope you're having a great day. We got the whiteboard out today. We're not sitting in the chair. We're up on our feet, using some energy. I hope you're all doing great. I'm so grateful for all of your comments and subscribes in the past few days. I really do take a lot of time to make these videos, so I am very appreciative of all of you. And I hope that you enjoyed this video as well, and I think this will be a very insightful topic. I haven't heard any other narcissistic YouTube channels talk about this specifically, so what I'm about to teach and tell you guys is my own iteration of the sexual intimacy between you and a narcissist, and we're going to dive deeper into more of the attributes of moving forward to get a different type of partner that is going to give you exactly what you want in the long term. So yeah, let's get into it. So we're going to be talking about the sexual intimacy, and I got this comment from, oh man, I just forgot the username. I'm sorry, but I got this comment a couple days ago about doing a video on why is the sex, oh God, I gotta remember on YouTube I can't say sex, S3X, so good with a narcissist. And so I'm gonna go into a few different parts with this and follow along, and I hope you guys enjoy the video, so let's get into it. Okay, so the sexual intimacy. Why is the S3X so good with a narcissist? There's a few different reasons for this, and again, this isn't very well documented, so I'm basing this off of my own experience and all the research I've done, bringing science on top of spirituality into it, and I'm so appreciative of all your comments saying how you like my flow of videos, and I always try and, you know, be genuine and authentic, and I try and think outside the box. You know, when you watch a lot of narcissism videos from YouTube people that have PhDs or psychiatrists, it's very in the box type of thinking. So I like to really kind of, you know, think outside the box and bring as much to the topic as possible. And bridging the gap between the science and the spiritual is, I think, like where my aspect really comes in. So when we talk about the sexual intimacy with a narcissist, we have to think that when we have sex with a narcissist, that trauma bond is being created, right? In that love bombing stage, you know, what we think is love, but it's really not. We create that trauma bond, so, you know, we feel comfortable. We feel extremely comfortable because it's what we learned in childhood from our parents. You know, so when we create that trauma bond with someone else, our body, our soul, our mind, we feel at ease, we feel comfortable, so it feels really good. But it's also chaos and toxic. So that toxicity, you know, if you've ever had S3X with someone that is extremely toxic, it usually feels, you know, 100 times better than normal S3X. And what I always tell people, like, if you're an empath and then you are with another empath after a narcissistic relationship, a lot of people and a lot of clients I've had talk about how the S3X is boring. It's not that it's boring. The right word to use is that it's calm, because we have never been in a calm relationship. You know, we've been in these narcissistic relationships for so long, we only know what a bad relationship feels like, that chaos, that toxicity, and that's why the S3X feels so good. So when you get with another empath or someone that is kind, caring, compassionate, doesn't play mind games, doesn't manipulate, people think it's boring, but it's really not. It's calm. We're just not used to it because we've never had a good relationship. After the trauma bond, the soul tie is created. And with that soul tie, in the spiritual realm, you know, we're talking about something that's not in the physical plane anymore. So when you get into that spiritual realm where you have the soul connection with someone, it is a lot more addicting and intoxicating. And it just feels like out of this world, right? It's spiritual because it is out of this world. That's why it feels so good. And what I really want to drive home with the S3X, with the narcissist, the sexual intimacy, is there's three aspects that I always like to talk about. And that's the mind, the body, and the soul. So when we meet someone, and I'm going to talk about this from a male's perspective, males often look at the body first. Men are visual creatures, right? And some women are too. And like, I don't want, when I say all the things that I'm about to say, this might be triggering for certain people. I'm not trying to stigmatize anything or put general associations on specific genders or anything like that. But males are often, we often look at the body first. We have, lust is one of the big deadly sins in the Bible, and lust of the flesh. And so with men, when we see something that is very attractive, we automatically are like, oh, that person's amazing. Oh, wow, I need to have them. I want it. And the issue with this is you don't create a meaningful connection. And I did the same thing with the ex-narcissist. I saw her and I was like, oh my God, like laser beams. And yeah, it turned out to be the worst relationship I ever had. But with looking at the body first, we don't allow ourselves to cultivate a long-term relationship, a long-term connection, and we don't vet properly. And speaking from a male's perspective, if we look at the body first and we go into a sexual relationship really early on without getting to know the person, without vetting them, without going through the red flags, then what ends up happening? Chemicals. The dopamine, the serotonin, the oxytocin. So now our brain gets addicted to that person before we ever got to know if we really would be with them long term, if they were gonna be a meaningful relationship. And when you have that S3X with a narcissistic person and you didn't vet and you just had lust and strictly saw the body, well, now you're trapped. Because now your brain is releasing all these chemicals, feel-good chemicals. And again, this is what goes in with the soul tie and the trauma bond. You have the soul tie trauma bond, plus you're getting all these chemicals released. You are now an addict to that person. And if we focus on the body first, which most men do, we cancel out all the long-term possibilities of that person. And we put ourselves in a state of being abused, whether that's emotional, physical, or sexual. So that's why it's so important. I always teach mind, body, and soul. And especially for men, this took me a long, long time to get away from lust. I used to be a little greedy. It wasn't bad, but lust was my biggest one. And it was extremely, extremely difficult to get away from because I lived in that toxic mentality for over a decade. And what I learned from getting away from that is you can create a meaningful connection and potentially find that soulmate if we don't look at the physical outside attributes of a human being. We're meant to find our kingdom godly woman or man in this lifetime, but if we rely so much on the body, we're not going to get it. And oftentimes the beauty is inner. It's inner. This crap doesn't matter, doesn't mean anything in the long run. If you want to have someone when you're 75 sitting on the porch, reminiscing about your adventures and having deep conversations about what's going on in the world and the things that you enjoy and deep, meaningful conversations, that's not going to be this. That's going to be mind and soul, right? And so let's take it. Oh, I choked on something there. I don't know what that was, but let's take it I always say this, and again, I don't want to create stigmas or generalizations because I get comments on this. I have not a lot, but maybe 10, 15 comments a week of people saying based on my intro video that I'm a narcissist. And that's, again, that's a stigma because I've met so many bodybuilders that are way on a whole nother level than I am, that are super humble, that are not narcissistic. And then I've met people that are just starting out in the gym that are extremely arrogant, extremely egotistical, extremely narcissistic. It's not a one size fits all. If we took, let's say 10 super fit people and we just lined them up right here. And for all the females watching, if I was to say, okay, pick one out that you want to be with, who you're most attracted to, right? Based on all of the looks, where, you know, and they're all extremely physique bodies, great genetically gifted human specimens. They all look the same. The body is all there. But maybe 3 of those extremely fit people have mind, and maybe only 1 has soul. But how are you going to know that? You're not going to know that just by looking at them, by just seeing the body. That's why it's so important to vet. That's why this crap does not mean anything. Like, it's good to want someone that's very health conscious and, you know, takes care of themselves, but that is not the end all be all at the end of the day. You want someone that is going to give you equal reciprocation with love and, did I say that right? Reciprocation? Reciprocity. Is going to give you equal caring, compassion, someone that is equally empathic, not someone that is going to be just all about their looks, that are going to be arrogant. You know, we can take this a step further, like how I talked about in another video, narcissistic people that are like musicians or Hollywood actors. And the thing with that is, you know, once you get to a certain level, a lot of power, a lot of money, you know, that can go to people's heads. So they become very, very narcissistic. And I've met janitors that are narcissistic. I've met people that are not attractive and live in their parents' basement and are in debt that are narcissistic. It's not a one size fits all. Like I said, you can be the most attractive person in the world, Brad Pitt, and be extremely humble. Like, it's not a one size fits all. Just because someone is fit or someone plays guitar or whatever it is does not mean that they're a narcissist. You know, there's branches all over the place. So when we talk about the mind and the soul, in the body, we're talking about lust, flesh, physical, and the chemical. If we talk about the mind, if we're going to try and find someone that has mind, body, and soul, the mind is the intellectual part, is the enmeshment of you and someone else's mind coming together. And I think that is what the majority of people will find after body. They look for the mind. If you have a mental connection with someone else, you have the same views, the same values, you have the same characteristics, you both like to work out, you both like to eat healthy, you both like to go shoot guns, whatever it is, you have the same type of mind, the same type of intellect. And that's something you want to look for before body. Again, body is the third thing. Body's the last thing, but it's flip-flopped in today's society. Everyone's like, body, body, body. Doesn't mean anything. So when you're with that narcissist, or you're trying to go to someone that is like you, that has to be on the back burner. That has to be the last thing. And when we talk about the mind, when we're with the narcissist, again, we're going back to the chemicals. So chemicals get released. And if we release oxytocin, which is the love hormone in the brain, and you're with the narcissist and you didn't vet them properly, you slept with them in, you know, a few dates or a few weeks, then you end up getting hooked. And now the trauma bond is getting created and the soul tie is getting created. And then it makes it extremely, extremely difficult to get away from. So that's why it's so important after a narcissistic relationship. My rule of thumb is get to know someone for 3 months. Go out with them on 50 dates, like before you ever go into a sexual kind of relationship with them. Because again, that's how you get stuck. And when we get those chemicals, those feel-good chemicals, we want them. And it's going to be extremely difficult to get away, even if we see those red flags. So it's really important to cultivate, when you're seeking out a partner, that we want to find the mind and the soul first before body. So when we talk about the soul, the third aspect, which is, in my opinion, the most difficult to find, you know, that's on the spiritual level. That's the godly level. That's where the innocence and the vulnerability takes place. And if you comment on this video, let me know, when you were with the narcissist and you had S3X, were they able to be vulnerable? Because a lot of narcissists, you know, it's an act. Everything is an act. In that love bombing stage, it's a facade. It's an illusion. You don't really know who they really are. They don't know who they really are because they take characteristics from every single person they've been with their entire life. So with the narcissist, they can't get to this soul level. They can't have that vulnerability, that innocence, that spiritual. But a lot of times the issue is that the narcissist comes off as the soulmate or the twin flame. A lot of people talk about this, how the narcissist, oh, is their soulmate or they're my twin flame and they just get me and we just have this crazy spiritual connection. Well, the narcissist doesn't have a soul. It's all an illusion. And again, if it truly is narcissists are demonic entities or evil or of Satan, not of the light, of the dark, then, you know, everything is being manipulated through them. So that spiritual aspect, when you're with them, they can't be a twin flame or a soulmate. It can be an act. And if we know that the devil, Satan, is the master illusionist, deceptionist, I don't know if that's the word too. He wants to trick us. How better to do that? Give someone that has all these characteristics and they're fake, and then you get trapped. And before you know it, you think they're your soulmate, twin flame, but they're treating you absolutely terrible. A twin flame soulmate is not going to treat you how a narcissist treats you. A twin flame soulmate is not going to cheat on you, lie, be deceptive, manipulate you to get more finances or whatever it is. They will not do that. So, Jimmy, what does mind plus a body plus soul equal? Twin flame? Wrong. Sit down, Jimmy. What did I just say? If you can find all three of these things, that's your soulmate. But easier said than done, again, because the narcissist is going to emulate that. It's not going to be real. So you're thinking you're getting your soulmate, but you're not. A true soulmate, and again, if we can not look at the body, we can look at someone for who they are intellectually in the mind and their soul. That's going to be the person you want to be with. Put this on the back burner. And this was really hard for me to do for a long time. This took me many years. But I went down the wrong road with lust for a long time. But if we truly want to find that soulmate, it's important that we heal and we understand our own inner childhood traumas and everything that makes us tick and why the trauma bond was created with the narcissist. Did the narcissist go through something similar? They were abused sexually, whatever it is. Were you abused sexually and that's what created the trauma bond? Were you abandoned? Were they abandoned? You figure out what created that trauma bond, and now we take a look at our inner childhood and our traumas that we've went through. Recognize it, have the self-awareness and the reflection to be able to understand it and to let it go and to become your most authentic self and to heal and continue on your healing journey. Once you do that, you're going to be able to attract this person, because if you don't heal, how can you ever have that soulmate? How can you find someone that has mind, body, and soul? Because if maybe you need to work on one of these three aspects. So like, for example, for me, my body is there. My mind is there. There's still a few things I need to work on my mind. And my soul is, if I had to put a number on it, like 60% there. I'm still in my spiritual journey. I'm still going towards God. I'm still working on this part. So in order to find someone that has all these things, you have to have all these things as well. So that's why it's so important that you have to work on yourself, physical, mental, and spiritual. You work on those and you heal and you become authentically yourself, and then you're going to attract that person. But you're not going to be able to do it if you're broken or you have issues or you have traumas on the inside. And it's easier said than done because, you know, we all want to take a pill and wake up and be muscular and fit and have $1 million and be very intellectual. Like we want these things fast, you know, in a society where everything is now, go. It's like the best things in life take time. It's about the journey. It's not about the destination. It's not about getting to the top of the mountain. It's about the journey, the climb there. So on your healing journey, you know, you might say, hey, I want to find that soulmate in the next 6 months. That might not be God's plan for you. It might take you a year. It might take you a year and a half. It might take you 2 years. You just have to go with the flow every single day and make small progression every single day. Count the small wins over time. That's what's going to get you there, and that's what's going to keep you excited to continue on the journey. And don't get down on yourself when you do have these relapses or moments. You know, don't get down on yourself if you unblock the narcissist and you talk to them and then you slept with them again. It's a lesson. You haven't learned your lesson of being with them yet, and that's going to continue to cultivate you on the healing journey. If you end up going back to the narcissist or doing anything, any kind of relapse type of thing, go back to alcohol, whatever it is, it's just a lesson because you have not learned your lesson, and it's just going to push you further on your healing journey. And it's going to teach you that, hey, okay, I messed up, but I'm back on the healing journey and I know not to do that thing again. All right, so don't get down on yourself. It's going to be a roller coaster. It's not going to just be smooth sailing all the way up to the top. I went through it the past 2 weeks, like I said, hurt back, sick, didn't go to the gym, laid on the couch. Yesterday I got an eyelash in my eye in the morning, and it was so bad I couldn't get it out the entire day. It got behind my eye, like up behind the top of my eyelid. My eye, I took a picture of it because it was so bad. I could barely see by the end of the day. My eye was swollen shut. So I haven't gone to the gym in like 4 days. And that's like my peace. That's my time where I, feel good, feel the best. And, it's just a down point. I'm going to go to the gym today. I really don't want to because I'm exhausted and because I laid around all day, did nothing. Barely, I haven't slept in 2 weeks because I had a bunch of telepathic attacks, astral projection attacks in the past 2 weeks. But it's okay because I know that at the down points, the only way from the down point is up. So just know that on your journey, there is going to be down points. And when you remember that in those down points, that it can only go up, that is going to help you get through the pain and suffering you go through in those moments. Life is not linear. It's going to be up and down. And just accept that and surrender all of that to God. And you're going to be so much happier and so much more at ease and at peace with yourself and with your healing journey to get you to where you need to go. I promise you that. So I think that concludes the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please comment on this. Let me know what you guys think, where you're at, if you are working on the body or you're working on the mind or you're working on the soul, or where you think you are in each of these journeys. And I'm so grateful, and I will see you guys in the comments later tonight. Go get a workout in if you can, eat healthy, stay safe, and just know that you are on the right path. If you're watching these videos, that's you taking steps in the right direction, you gaining the knowledge, you letting go of the past hurt that the narcissist put you through. As I always say, forgive the narcissist and forgive yourself. You don't have to send hate and negativity towards them, even though they did absolutely the worst things ever to you. But by letting go of that and forgiving them and forgiving yourself, that's how you cultivate inner peace. I think, what does it say in the Bible? Treat your enemies as you treat your neighbors, or love your neighbors like you love your enemies, something like that. That's how it should be, even the people that treat you the absolute worst, because then you can let go. If you hold on to that resentment will eat you alive, will stay inside of you. You can push it down and seem like you're fine on the outside, but it will eventually come up. And the problem is, if you get into a good relationship where you're trying to find this person and you don't heal and you don't work on those inner childhood traumas, that shadow self, and let go of the pain the narcissist put you through, forgive them, move on, that's going to seep out into your next relationship, and you have the potential to lose a soulmate. So don't do that. Heal and become the best version of yourself. And when you're meeting new people and you're getting out there, you're learning to trust again. I know it's difficult. It takes time. You know what red flags to look for. You've done your research. You have the knowledge. You know what to look for. You went through a narcissistic relationship. You know all the terms. You know love bombing, gray rocking, the devalue stage, breadcrumbing, gaslighting. You know everything that goes with narcissistic type of people. You know the tendencies to look for. When you are vetting people, don't just hop into bed with them. If you truly want to meet that person that's going to treat you well, look at the mind and soul and cultivate a strong connection with that person and move forward to have a long-term relationship. That's what we all want. All right, guys, take care. I will talk to you tomorrow, and I'll see you tonight in the comments. Later. I can see the fire that we made just to save